We're on. All right. A moment of lightness. Going to come back now and talk about wave 9 as much as I can. I am sure glad that I can put this format up and you can look at it. I'm following it the best I can. I know what it means, I know what it feels like to me, which is how it came through the words on that page or what you see within the artwork that is displayed that you see. So the relevance of that or anything that I am trying to say here, it was relevant to me. And the only reason it's coming back out at you is because I can sense the relevance to more than me in the story. And I've experienced that out. It doesn't matter at the end of the story. I can sense it. So the wave 9, or that reference number within the unit of charge, how charge is flowing within its water-based environment of charge, in the fractal burn, that's where the quattro force comes in. So when I say the laying down of the 9, that is the end of. There's our production as a 6, being whatever we call relevant to the 3. What is the end byproduct? What's the end byproduct of that? Because that's the cycle of life. So the 9 is already after the production, which would be where any oracle or any power force would come from. And the 9 is, as you'll see, is what they call the laying down. It's just so what's left is what we're experiencing. And I'm saying that experience can be just be experiencing more. That's all I'm saying. Judging experience, I'm just saying that the laying down of the 9, if we can make this more, I can't make it more as 1. Like everybody. Then the laying down associated with consciousness is not something you can think about or pass off on someone else. It's a charge-based unit that's happening to everybody and everything all at the same time. You can't separate yourself from it. So the only anxiety we have to that connection to all of this is an actual physical condition, which is why we actually do get scared. So that is just an actuality. And all of it. I have felt stone-faced, body fear. Whereas if I moved an inch, I was falling off the cliff. So that sensation of what that actually, were you, what? Where's that coming from? Were you thinking about you? I couldn't think myself one way or other from that one. So how much reality was my thought about it or what I was actually experiencing as a charge becomes very, very apparent at that time. So the relevance of 9, it can't be just an expectation of what you see happen. Because most of that is what's in the mind. It has to have a reverence to what could be possible in that aspect of. And so, anybody knew anything about Tesla? I don't really know. I'm not as smart as Tesla, I don't think. In production for sure, but that part of the unit would have to, feed off. The 6 would be where the power force would come from. And that's not quantifiable within. I'm pretty sure he didn't use all the numbers that everyone else uses. He just didn't. Is that wrong or right? No. That's how he produced within time and space. Is it what? Is that a wrong or right? No. Did it happen? Yes. But what can happen can happen. So genetically, we've just been experiencing it from one human to one human based upon, for a long time, it's just been carried within bloodlines. And now once again, that's still just a level of that within that. The level that I'm seeing that is there is much more than that, which would be why this thing has been around for longer than we would ever want to know. So the totality of the whole is the present moment, what you're thinking about the moment, what you're willing to give to the moment, and then the actuality of that is what the moment must deal with, convey to exist in the totality, which is the universal question. And that's where our intellect, the universe is on that curve. So electromagnetism, all that, electricity, all that's a part of that. So once you start letting the intellect experience itself from more of an animated force field from the nervous system, then it starts to kind of balance itself back into the heels and back into the ground. And that's just a natural thing to do. You can. So the reference point to what the intellect might think would be the eventuality of all of this, it's quite different than what can be. I drew one in there I tried to draw a wave, because when you watch a surfer, I don't surf yet. I'm not in the water yet. When you see a surfer going south, there's an eventuality there. You can go faster that way. You can go. It's a deeper ride. It's just more powerful. But there's also at the end of that, there's a rock somewhere. So you got to know what that power for, what's going to happen. The other rides is just as fun. It's just different. So when I was drawing that out, I was trying to say that when you're going into, in that case, I was giving the expression, when you're going to commit to a wave, you're committing to a force that's greater than you in terms of its ability and your ability to sustain yourself through what it's getting, in that case, a wave. And the eventuality that wave's going to go into something that you have to get out of, or it's going to be on top of you. In the force power wave I'm talking about. Or it goes into the eventuality of the rock. That being said, there is that eventuality, and that is an experience that's happening in the moment at a very short period of time. So when we get back to time in the laying down the 9, when the feeling that's actually going to happen, the experience is actually going to happen within all it is, which would be human experience, that's an actual sensation that everybody's feeling all at the same time. Well, this is full of it. That's just how it is. So that sensation that everybody's having is at a frequency. So when you have to commit more, in this case here, the example was more to the actuality of, I actually want to make that happen. I want to ride that wave. I want to do that. Is there anything that says that you can't do that? No, so you take it, you do it. So that's an amplified force of laying down your 3 in the 9, and it takes all the 6 you got. And your intellect has to be on like a mofo in any balanced situation, and that's where the chirality of the genetics of potentiality come from. Those that can do that without having to think about it can balance themselves against anything. I'm still working on the water thing. I can go so far. You see some of these people, and it's just like they balance themselves out with the water and the land like it was nothing. So the aqua force is there, and it's relevant actually to feel. It actually feels better. So when we're talking about the 369 of anything before I get into the force 10. It's just a relevance point or a reference point to what you're going to be relevant to. It's either just thought about things that, oh, there's the theory on that, and trying to look at you and do this at the same time, but it's everywhere. Because omnipresence really is not, it's always been something that I was brought up as something that exists outside of me instead of that's just what is. Well, why would omnipresence be looking at me? I didn't get that one. Anyway. So those things, it's not about, one expression of God over another. And there's no label there for me. I've already said that in my previous videos. I'm talking about the force charged up to and existing to the quattro force, which is actually existing, and with it we do have, and it's actually existing. It always has. It's in all the books. It's just we've only gotten so far to existing as it, which comes back to the as in. I'll throw that in there one more time because chirality is everything. That's the genetic thing. Once again, it's 2 to 1. Well, when you apply that to what would be an intellectual production or movement or higher frequency or gaining more frequency within the curve, which would be producing more to have a better 9, a more experience, that takes a certain value point of attention. That's all this is about, is a value point. I've said it from day one. It's always just what do you value, and that's not a choice. And when I say feel, it's not what you actually what does that mean? Because most of us couldn't even feel even if we said we're feeling. I'm lying. Oh yes, no, you just can't. You physically can't. You do the best you can. So sensing, 369 is a part of the sensing organ, sixth sense. It's 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 everything happening all at the same time. So that's what I do. Feel. Someone asked me the other day when I was on the beach. She finally got it. One of the people didn't, and the other one did. And they left. As soon as the other one did, they left. And it was good. It was a good experience. And she got that I was feeling more of all it is because I could there. And that there was actually a reason for feeling that. Not how do I understand what you're doing? You couldn't because there's no attention on the value point. But once you understand the value point, oh, your value point is to feel more of those 4. Oh, I get it. Okay. There's more of that here. Okay, that makes sense. It might be to accomplish something right now. That is, I'm conflicted with it all the time. Accomplishing what? I was asked that by my young ones just the other day. What are you accomplishing? In the measurement of this way, not a whole bunch, but a measurement of knowing more about me and what the context of all it is. I don't know. So then it feels okay. Less pain. Can't see that. So in the laying down of the 9, are you committed? I use that word. I have written a book, by the way. It just sits there, and so I do have text. It's called The Consciousness of Consciousness, and I've talked about this. You're not committing. The word commitment or committing to is an action of just the mind thinking of what it can or can't do. But the commitment to the 9 only could begin from the commitment of feel the best thing we have is I'm committed to you as a person, or I'm committed to an ideal or a principle or whatever, whatever that means. Good. This is just a place. I'm just using that as the kind of a footstool for this connection to, because 9 presents point B, basically. And at this point in time, point B has been something that's just been brought to us. And I'm not calling that, that's just how it's been presented. For forever, really. We can say, well, that's worse now than it was. Well, I don't know, there's been a lot of mayhem for forever. And there's been other stuff. It's just that we can't validate what's going on, within the shakedown of society and humanity on Earth as the value point for what we're talking about. Because it's not about that's what's happening, but we're looking at what's happening so that we can maybe have an effect on what's happening. So the laying down of the 9 has everything to do with where we left off in the last talk, basically, was point B. The chasm of, where'd that come from? I better do this real quick before the tape ends. Charge, Earth, yeah. So we had point, it's kind of coming through. It's not a very good 6. The laying down of the 9 is wherever it's going to is a point B. Once again, north, south, which is what we're trying to get at here. So the laying down of the 9 is what the eventuality of all this force between what we're doing as human consciousness on planet Earth and what it's doing and what it has to do. It has to do that. So that's our little environment, the dome, and its connection to what electromagnetic field is all it is. And there's your big X. And then you got the small x, which is always 2. So the laying down of the 9, once again, this is Earth, is the ending byproduct of that experience. So that experience, if this point B is not felt, then that experience happens wherever it happens within the experiential aspect of. And that is the curve. We're going to talk about this tomorrow, because we're going to talk about Palestine, but we're going to get into the curvature of things. So it looks like an eyeball. Oh, I see that. So what comes off that experience is the magnetic force, the 6, electrostatic, or basically what we're willing to feel. And that's what we experience. And that's not it. Well, damn you, Billy, why'd you do that? What? You can't, there's no one you can blame. There is no one. There's no one to blame. It's a point charge actually having physics thing that's happening, and has nothing to do with anybody, anywhere, anyhow. It's happening. Just like does a tree, as much as it doesn't have an intellect, or does nature, does it sit there and worry about why it's existing? I think we do. We are done. We're going to come back at this tomorrow. All right.